Jared Goff, he's the guy that's coming back. He doesn't have a center, doesn't have his offensive line, doesn't have his OC and Benedict Johnson, who's now somewhere that's not Detroit. But you know what? He's still the guy, man. He's got a new offensive coordinator, and this is him talking about Johnny Mo.
Newness of this offseason, having to learn John, how much is
Yeah, sure. It's fun. It's fun. It's a challenge, and it's new stuff. It's new communication. It's different ways he likes to do things and learning each other, and it's fun. It's a fun challenge. You know, it's something that we're working through every day, and something that's fun to overcome and get closer to being where we want to be.
When we talked to him, he said, look, I'm not going to change much. It's been so successful. Just how subtle are the changes maybe with the casual fan notice it, and how much?
Yeah, I'm sure a casual fan would notice some of it, yeah. Yeah, some of it's different, some of it's the same. You know, he's got a long background of stuff he's liked that he's done, and then he was here for a year through a lot of our success. So there will be a lot of that carryover and some new. And to be honest, I don't think that would have been any different, you know, if you're returning with the same offense. You always kind of add some wrinkles, but yeah, certainly he has his flavor on the offense and has been doing a good job.
That's been the big question. The question is, what is the offense going to look like with number 16 now that you don't have those guys? And, you know, what we said was the comfortability is there. There's some comfortability with Johnny Mo. He was here in 2022. But also, Anson, as I come to you first, Jared Goff has helped build this offense in the last 4 years, going on 5 this year. So I think everybody should relax a little bit. But first time we hear him talk about it, what do you think?
Well, hey, that's my quarterback.
Okay,
That's
Stick.
my quarterback.
Okay, Stick.
Listen, that's all of our quarterback.
Yeah.
He's done more for us in Detroit than anybody not named Bobby Lane. All right. You know, the SNL movement or the BNL and the SOL movement is a joke because all these people that are claiming BNL are just hopping off the bandwagon left and right. Because what? We lost 2 offensive coordinators and 1 offensive lineman.
2 offensive linemen.
2 offensive linemen, you're right. I look at this team and I see them better. I've said this ad nauseum. I see them better than the team that we had last year. I hear people calling out Dan Campbell and questioning his tenure here at this point. You know, I'm going to go back to that window thing. Everybody wanting to trade because this is our window or we just missed our window. That is SOL talk if I've ever heard SOL talk. If you think that it's all about finding a 1 or 2 year window, well, I will guarantee you SOL football. This team is building something long-term, and we've already witnessed it for the last 3 years. This team is about cohesiveness. And yes, you lose a little bit out of your offensive line, but they're so damn deep at this point, and there's so much belief in all 53 guys. I just don't understand why people are freaking out over this team right now. You hear the confidence out of the players. You hear the confidence out of the coaching staff. Is it crazy for me to think that these new assistant coaches could bring a better brand of Detroit Lions football here? Is that crazy?
Anson, it's not crazy. And I'll forward this to Max because you guys are on the opposite sides, although you both love the Lions, although you both believe they're the best team. You guys have just slightly different ways in which you go about it. Anson, when you replace the number 1 center as it relates to last year and number 2 when Jason Kelce was playing, and he's been doing it for a very long time with Jared Goff, that's something that, you know, you think about. When you replace Kevin Zeitler, who last year was one of the best rated right guards, he was a Pro Bowl. You saw it emulated the same things he did when he was in Baltimore. He was that guy 13 years, and he hasn't missed a beat. When you're missing him now, that's 2 guys in your interior line. When last year your offense was led by the running game. The running game was number 1. So it's cause for, you know, that's 2 concerns. Now your offensive coordinator, who before he wanted to become Benedict, he was Ben Johnson. He was a guy in which we revered as saving this Detroit Lions offensive prowess. I think that's what some of the people are worried about. Not necessarily what's going to happen at the end. That's just a quick interim worry right now. Tom Masaway, that bothers you a little bit, not having Kevin Zeitler or Tong Frank Ragnow and Benedict Johnson.
Yeah.
What say you now? This is the first time we've kind of heard Jared Goff at the podium talking about Johnny Mo. Where are you at?
First of all, I want to thank Lions Nation Unite for that soundbite, our good friends there. But I don't know why I thought of this. And it was last night. I think I had a nightmare It popped in my head while I was sleeping or I was tossing and turning. And I just pictured the Bears with Ben Johnson on the sidelines. And I'm being honest. It bothers me that I think he's an offensive guru. I don't think anyone could argue with that. Now, the Lions had a lot of talented people. I believe the Bears have a lot of talent, just not as much as the Lions. I think Ben Johnson, his offense with Chicago is going to be very good. It'll be dynamic in a couple of years once he really puts a stamp on it. And sure, it bugs me. It's like you're married, and then you get a divorce, and then she marries a guy down the block. So you still got to see him all the time. And he's out with your wife. He's not out with your family, but he's out with your ex-wife. And it sticks in my craw. It just bugs me knowing that he's cooking up this playbook for Catfish Caleb, as Anson would call him, and the rest of this team. And they have some talent, guys. They do. And they drafted a hell of a tight end out of Michigan. They've got some weapons. They don't have Lions weapons, but they invested a lot of money on that offensive and defensive line. They don't have the running game yet. They drafted a rookie. We'll see how he does. They don't have the great tandem wide receivers that I don't believe they do, that the Lions have. But they got this guy on the sidelines in Ben Johnson and the people that he's brought over from the Lions and other teams. And it just sticks in my craw. And I know there's nothing I could do about it. But we got to see him twice a year and watch the Bears. I think they're going to be better than they were last year. I picked them for the playoffs last year. And no, they didn't make it. But hell, we all know where their season went wrong, and it was against the Commanders on that tip drill. And that's when the season dropped for them. They were on their way. Now they have a guy that I think knows what he's doing, has learned from some of the best here in Detroit. Brad Holmes down to Dan Campbell. So, yes, I'm a little worried that the Bears are going to be better, but I'm not worried about the Lions as much anymore, Bray. And I know Zeitler's gone, and I know Frank Ragnow's gone, but I believe the Lions will be able to, whatever, call it patchwork, call it find a gem. I believe they're going to be just fine. But Ben Johnson to the Bears still bugs the hell out of me.
Cody Engel in the chat. Who's to say Frank was going to be Frank this season?
Correct.
And was Frank at the end of last season when his toe was falling off?
No, but neither was the whole team.
But I don't. And to Cody Engel, I appreciate the comment, but I don't think the comment is Frank Ragnow is going to come here and have this all-American. I'm still thinking about this trip I was on. Have this all-pro year if you want. We're just talking about the fact that he's gone. We're talking about more than like the fact that he's gone.
Well, and we don't know for sure that he's gone. He could still have a role in, as an assistant coach or something like that. I do want to throw this super chat out here. Shout out Michael Weary. The super chat has been super weak today, and if you guys don't hit a
weak,
that's right. If you guys don't hit a threshold, all of this prize pack will go into tomorrow's prize pack. So let's see some more super chats and let's pound that like button. Get us to 100. Tom Mazway, Michael Weary. He says the Bears are going to be the reason Ben Johnson will never get another head coaching job. Just watch and see. That organization has sucked since 85. I'm not worried about those guys. I'm not worried about the loss of Ragnow. Yeah. I am worried about the chemistry and cohesion of this future front five, this future offensive line, this very young, all of a sudden, offensive line. Because if you look at it last year, we were one of the oldest. Yeah. Now we're one of the youngest. And we are great at player development. For me, win 10 games. That's fine. This team, when they get to the playoffs, will be healthy and ready. And that offensive line, I don't think is really going to lose too much.
Yeah, and I appreciate the comment talking about the youth of the offensive line now. That was one thing that we always had to worry about as you get later in the season. Is Kevin Zeitler in year 13 going to be able to hold up? Taylor Decker, there's a lot of questions being asked about him.
Dante 151 just said he might retire after this season.
And he would be right to do so. And just thinking about what Taylor's had to endure the last couple of years, if that saw him fit. You're right about that. Not having to worry about those things will be well. So you have that youthfulness. I do like that aspect.
We had to change at some point. We had to turn the page. And realistically, people questioning Dan Campbell's future here if they can't win a few games or get to a Super Bowl. To me, he's not putting it all in right now. This is my window. I have to make it happen right now. Oh, man, you guys and your pauses are ridiculous, man. Anyway,
you're ridiculous.
Come on. Grow up, gentlemen. Anyway, you talk about going all in this season with a bunch of old guys on your offensive line that get no experience, no play time, and let's say they make it and they lose in the Super Bowl or they make it to the conference finals. Now you're taking even more guys and replacing them with a whole bunch of young people. The fact that they're doing it now with Decker, maybe in his last year, with Panay, the all-pro that he is, these guys are going to get up to speed super quick. Burn with the $5 chat. His issue with Z and Frank is durability. The key play of the Commanders' loss was a bull rush on third and one, blowing up our interior. Our not healthy interior, our not healthy team. Come on, guys. It's not about the window. It's about the franchise being great for the rest of this decade, and they're taking all the steps they need in order to do that.
That window thing bothers you, but I think it shouldn't bother you as much. And the only reason I say that is everything is a window. Like, everything is a window. You look at every team, there's a window in which a team is going to have opportunities, and then after that window closes, they're going to have to revamp some things. Now, how long that window stays open?
And that's the thing. Let's talk about windows. Yeah. How many times do you think the Lions have made 2 consecutive playoffs?
3 times.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
3 times. Do you know how many times that they've made it 3 out of 5 years?
Never.
Twice.
I'm sure.
Right?
Yeah.
In the 40s,
Yeah.
or excuse me, the 50s, and in the 90s.
But we know this isn't that team anymore. This isn't that franchise.
No, but what I'm talking about is that is football, not for long. All right? Yeah. And the fact that they're on the precipice of their 3rd straight playoffs with no fall off after 2025. Does anybody not see this as a playoff team in 2026?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what they are doing is not cashing in their assets to strengthen their window. They screw windows. Yeah. Let's be one of the best franchises in the NFL. Because the Kansas City Chiefs, they're not talking about a window. Philadelphia's not talking about a window. No, it's because they have depth and they have long-range foresight into how to build a champion. Period.
That's fine.
That's true, but it took time to get there. It took the Kansas City Chiefs time. They built that up in the 90s. Like, they were one of the formidable.
They didn't sell it all off for 1 year or 2.
They did, but they never won a Super Bowl.
Kansas City?
I'm talking about when they were good. Kansas City Chiefs have been good since the late 80s, early 90s. Like, they've been good, and they've had different moments where you're like, this team is damn good. Priest Holmes year with Larry Johnson, they brought it back when they had Will Shields and Willie Ruff. Like, that team was AFC champion.
They've had some good teams, just like the Pistons have, or the Lions have. But my difference that I see is when you look at the Phillies and the Kansas City Chiefs, these are 2 teams that are dedicated to long-term windows, i.e. a great franchise, year in, year out. Let's be the Steelers.
Yeah, how you take care of that one way is you pay your players. They paid Amon-Ra St. Brown.